Okay, it's 4:01, September 10th, I call the city council meeting to order. Please rise to the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is the minutes from August 13th, 2024. I'm going to table those until the next meeting because we have two counselors that have not reviewed them for accuracy, so then we'll jump into reports. Kurt.
Okay, so on the fire side, we've had no fires for at least, it's been last month I reported the last fire. We've had several medical calls, a couple of them have been air life. A couple of the guys took the brush trucks out yesterday and washed them all up, so they got nice clean windshields, so when we do respond, we can see out the windshield. Powder River Fire Department is given the Sumter Fire Department, the City of Sumter Fire Department, a $500 donation for the help we did on a couple of fires back in May. Cindy Morgan is probably writing the check today for that. We've responded on the Lyle fire and the Harris fire. We drove out and took a look at. The old antique truck that's been demolished and all that for years, we drug it up to Peter Saltzman's last Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning he fired it up and was putting around in it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I was gonna check and maybe I just missed it, but Jim Howard did ask me what I used his donation on. I didn't even see that until he asked me that Saturday. I didn't even know that he had donated 200. But he said he donated $200 to the fire department.
You would have just gone into the fire
Okay.
account. I mean, we didn't tag it, I don't think, for anything particular, did we? No.
He just said it was, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can still, from looking outside throughout the mountains tonight, you can still see that it's fire season because there's a lot of smoke out there. And staffing grant, I was going to just check in with the other departments, cause John and I thought we were all okay, cause John said, yeah, it looks like they're paying this amount. And then when he got his last check, I guess it came out where it was a lower amount. So anyway, standby time was $20 an hour and department time was $25.
We had budgeted when you first talked about this at $15 an hour.
I don't think we budgeted any overtime either.
Yeah, no overtime,
Yeah.
just,
a straight 15 is what you figured per hour.
yeah, well, we can bump, the fire chief's gonna set the rate, the 20 for standby and 25 for,
And have you
Department.
figured out how long that's gonna last you?
well, I was saying, we got a whole bunch of it left. And fire season, it goes till October 1st.
So the hard part is just communication. We just need to know what we need to pay.
Yeah,
All those things. And so, like, is it effective now? What's the effective date for that change?
well, from
For the
the
beginning?
beginning.
So we do retro pay for anybody who didn't get 20, 25? Do the time cards, I don't recall, do time cards break out standby time versus?
I would have to look at their cards, I don't know.
No.
But I'm taking all mine as just standby time, and I have 480 hours of standby.
It's just divvied up by staffing grant or,
So we're just gonna have to rejigger it to be told what we have to process. Because all we've got is the data we're getting off the time cards and then the $15 an hour we pull. Yeah, I don't care. I just need to know.
We need to use the grant up, is what the grantor had told me.
Right.
Well, you just
They
need to
don't
come
want
in,
it pulled over.
we need to come in and get with Matt on those time cards and figure it out.
So we just need
Okay.
something from the city that says,
Probably
which
John.
from you,
Right.
that says, this is how much these guys need, which were the hours that need retro, at what rate. That's
Yeah,
it.
when I originally started talking to departments, because this is my first year, they had said this is what we were doing, and then when I talked with the departments, they said, no, we had too much holdover money at those rates. You gotta bump your rate up.
There's nothing wrong from a statewide comparison perspective with $20-25. That's fine.
But we need to have Kurt go through the.
Yeah, and it should only be one John Young's.
Yeah, but you still need to go through the cards
Sure.
and.
Yeah, because I know, I'm sure John has had, fuels reduction time and then staffing grant time. So it'd be just the staffing grant time that would change.
See, yeah, but your department though, Kurt, is a little different than the other departments because the other departments probably have more than one or two people that are pulling on this grant money.
Yeah, that could be.
So that therefore their hourly rate would be lower to where you can actually raise yours because you only got one or two people pulling off of it.
Right.
Also on Powder River, were we gonna do an agreement with them for mutual aid?
Yes.
Do I need to just contact them without getting this?
I'll visit with Wes a little more to see what he would like to do on his end, if his board wants to, have. I'll visit with Wes and find
Okay.
out.
Yeah,
just
because
what we
you
need.
mentioned it last time and I haven't
Yes.
seen anything, so I want to be sure we didn't drop that.
Right.
So have you, so you haven't been called out at all for any of the,
New Bridge was the only fire that we were actually called out on.
anything else? Good.
No?
Okay, then we'll move on to, thank you for
Yep.
new business and, schedule report.
One second, working on this payroll issue.
Okay. He's already working on it.
Well, Renee's watching, it'll
No.
probably be better. That's how we make sure to get everything. Okay, all right, so, Bill,
Mhm.
so we got $83,000 in our regular checking account, we got 227,000 in LGIP. That's down about $16,000 from last month. This is the time of year we believe, it's just the way it is. November's coming soon. Yeah, it's only a couple months away. So just a little bit of activity on the credit cards. We got some Norris Electric, Core and Main, water parts and fire hydrant. We bought some chlorine, got my bill. K&S Septic, did a bunch of pumps. Remember those budget breakers?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. And that's just, that's why you have to charge Jeff charge first. So it just a reminder every time we do a pump, why it costs so much to do sewers. And then of course Levi, and then we got OTEC, which is normal summer usage. And that's really it. Questions?
No. Okay.
Next appropriations review. We're 2 months in, so should have about 80% or so left. We've got, we're just under 80% on administration, just under 80% on fire. Parks, we've used a bunch. That's pretty typical though. It's a seasonal type of activity. We pretty much spend nothing on them over the winter. So that's why you have that. Flea market, was a little bit, but that was the August portion. We'll have some for September, right? Because we had a Labor Day coming up. So some of that was spent first. You can see on materials and services, we did the oil for the road. And then on both administration and fire, well, pretty much every fund, there's a little bit of front loading here because we pay your insurance payment first of all. And that was sizable. I think you guys are 30,000 a year, and it's a once a year payment, so there's that. And then road, we barely spend anything on road, just again, seasonal, that's a winter expense line in general. Now, we've got a few payments on water bonded debt, but if you recall, we do the once a year $42,000 payment, so that's where that picks up, that's in February. Nothing in East Cemetery yet. Water has, it's running right around 80% on that, and same with sewer, so those all look pretty solid. Any questions?
Any questions? I would entertain a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I make the motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on. We have a request for its water sewer construction. This is up in the RO. And he gave us his a diagram and everything, compared to pretty closely. Sewer and water.
Started the only two pieces in sewer and water.
For service line, because we're not putting in a main.
So would any other concerns on this trade? You've been up there.
No.
So if there's no other concerns on his water and sewer line, I entertain a motion to approve Hal's request for sewer and water.
I make the motion to approve, Keith Powell, request for sewer and water.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next thing is flea market refunds. There's 4 vendors. These are all overpayments. They're not requests for those that just decided not to show up. These are just overpayments. Two of them for $5, one for $10, and was for a $30 overpayment. From the Royal and Miami Bank, $140.
I have the question of how do we get an overpayment?
They'll send in their application
Right.
and miscalculate how much they owe and send too much money. And people on the other side don't send enough. So, it happens a lot.
So well, I just want to make sure, because on an overpayment thing, it's not that somebody's coming in saying, I want, say, 5 lots or 5 places.
No.
And then it's like, and then we only use 4.
They send an
That would
application.
become back as a reimbursement.
No, they have to pay.
And here's a good example for you. So the one for $30, this Rude Seger,
Yeah.
she reserved spaces for the flea market. She didn't show up, but she overpaid. So she's not getting reimbursed what she reserved. She's only getting reimbursed for what she didn't pay for.
Okay.
You follow that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to. make
Because
sure
we don't
somebody-
give refunds if you don't show up.
One of the things is those, I don't want to consider it an overpayment if somebody says, I want 5 lots, but I'm only using 4.
No.
Because that would be a reimbursement for 1
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
And it's not because you overpaid, it's not because you didn't know how to do that. So,
So, any other questions from Alan? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to refund the 4 overpayments for flea market.
I'll make the motion to, refund the 4 overpayments to the flea market.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then we have one addition to zoning permit. This one is for the Sumter Highway in Cookie. This is for the Cracker Creek Mining
Museum.
Museum.
But the applicant, Sumter Valley Community
Yeah,
Volunteers.
and the applicant is the Central Valley Community Volunteers. They've applied to put a 20 by 12 pole shed on that property. And then that's their diagrams. This is large enough, this will all have to go to, Baker County for final approval.
Um,
So the volunteers are in charge of the project, not the
Right.
mining.
Right,
once again, the question comes, which would go to Dawn, because I do believe that there's gonna be a licensed contractor is gonna have to do the work, not the volunteers, because it's commercial. Just make a note of that.
okay.
I do believe that it's open to the public.
Anything, any other concerns about this?
No, we'll just notify Dawn of that.
Was it- When it goes to Don, we'll just mention that to her. Getting on any other questions, I entertain a motion to approve the zoning committee. With a note to Don about it.
Well, I make a motion to approve the, building permit for Sumter Highway, Cedar Street, planning.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Right.
Oh, hey, Will. Go on. Old business, the only thing I'll give you an update, we had a meeting with Pico and, the engineers for the water tank this morning. The whole tank is up now. They are getting ready to sanitize it. They said that it should be up and running in the next 2 weeks. After they get it all sanitized and ready to go, everything's hooked up. The electrician's on site right now, working on power in the building up there. The only thing that's really held up still is the generator, which there's just nothing we can do about that, but it will be a backup. But it is moving along, and October 10th is the goal for the final day. Final will be on our new water. They still then will do the second tank has to be drained and sealed because it's leaking also. The company that is going to come in and go inside it and clean it and seal it has phoned again, so we're still waiting on the deadline on that. But, everything's moving along. The tank people, they brought in a new, supervisor here a week ago, a couple weeks ago, I guess it was. And so he kind of got them helping a little faster and they got the tank done. It's been kind of a slow process. But everything's gotta go to get this done, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and when the generator gets here, like I said, the generator should be just set and plugged in, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
The
what they're-
whole wiring and everything else should be to the gen set,
That's what they're doing right now. Is doing all the wiring.
doing pre-wire.
So, Marcia, do you have anything?
Just hoping that somebody will come forward to start the project on our cemetery and get that all lined up. Easter Patterson is bowed out, so at some point we need to start getting that surveyed and dug up and getting ready, because we do have, 8 or 9 families that want to buy lots. So it is a moneymaker for the city if we can get going. So if you know anybody that knows how to do cemetery plots, it'd be great.
Or what to learn?
We have 10 acres and the stumps have been removed. We had a gentleman come up and remove all of the stumps, but now it's gotta be surveyed and plots designed, and then you have to contact the state to see how to do it, and so that we can start selling plots.
Big project.
It is a big project, so it's gonna have to be, several people working together.
But if you wanna, end your days here, you need a plot, so
Yeah.
we need to get it going.
Okay. Charlie? You have anything? Okay, public comment?
I've got a question, but I don't know where it would be. It's to do with the flea market and the porta potties. So I don't know if it's in public comment or
You
what.
can just make a comment if that's all. Go ahead, you can make a comment.
Well, I was walking around and I was over by the, model home. And somebody came up to me and wanted to know how come they're not emptying the porta potties. I said I didn't know they needed to be emptied, and so on my way back to my place, I looked at a couple of them, and they needed to be emptied. And I just wondered how
This
often
Labor Day
they
or Fourth of
empty them.
July?
Huh?
This Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Didn't they come up every day and empty the park?
We were scheduled for Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday, Sunday?
as with all the other things.
Yeah, they come and empty them twice during.
So they empty them twice over the weekend.
Saturday and Sunday.
Some people do go out though, and they bring their own, you know, they go to Baker Sanitation and they reserve and bring up their own porta potties, so the city didn't really pay for those. It just gets thrown in that way. However, an individual who did it, if they didn't pay to have them serviced, then they didn't get serviced. I'm not saying that these is part of that, but we had that problem before, Cindy, where individuals actually go out and get porta potties on the same day, but they're not the porta potties that the city did, because we paid for that service. And a lot of people won't pay for that full service, so they just come, they drop off the porta potty, and then they don't get emptied until the day they come and pick them up, which is 4 days. But I'm not saying that happened, I'm just saying it has happened in the past. So they all kind of get thrown together because they think the city is the one that went out.
So they will put a porta potty in with ours, with the cities.
Right,
Oh.
They
They
donate a
haven't-
porta potty, but don't donate clean service.
to where what we tried to tell people to do, and we've tried to do this for the last few years, is try to get individuals who want to do that to come to the city and donate the money to the city and say, I want this porta potty, but I want it on my piece of property. But I'm gonna give you the money for the porta potty, then that way it's in our loop.
Uh-huh.
Because that way, when they come and because they have a map of where they set these. And then we also have people who also take them from the map and they'll move them. And well, these guys here ain't gonna come in the middle of our flea markets, because they don't have GPS on them to figure out where they're at when you have a crowd of people. We've had that issue before too.
How many porta potties did we put out there? Do we
That
know?
would be a Mac question.
8.
7 regular and 1 disabled.
Wow.
But then we have some
We have more.
businesses
We have
and some
more.
people that donate more, so there was
See, that's
more
like-
than 8.
Justin Long, he actually gets one for his lot, or 2, and then Ronnie Varello for the goalpost, he usually gets 1 or 2, but they hold their own, and however they do it with them is up to them. But normally they kind of put it in the same system as the city to where they're cleaned every time they come out.
So how much is it if we put one in with the city and also have it cleaned? How much is that price?
The cleaning, if my memory serves me, is 170 per cleaning.
Per cleaning?
Yeah,
So and if they come up twice, okay, so,
and I forget the rate for the toilet itself, Cindy. I can get it to you though,
mhm.
if you're interested in getting one yourself.
We paid $4,000 to have the toilets we have and have them cleaned at this flea market. That's what the city pays for toilets on Labor Day.
Okay,
But that should answer your question.
so yeah, definitely. I didn't realize that was going on.
It's a pretty
That
good
answers
business.
it. Huh?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good business.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of crap.
Okay, is there,
I have a question.
okay,
Is there any advertising that's done for the flea market, for the Labor Day and Memorial Day? Does the city do any outside advertising
we
to
go,
bring our vendors in?
we, website, and we go through, the chamber advertises from the Tri-Cities to Boise on it.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, the city is planning on trying to do some more advertising through the TLT people
I see.
and go to, Central Oregon.
And do they have to contact, city halls for prices regarding space rental, if they want to overnight with a fifth wheel? Do they have to?
So it's all on the website, it goes through
Okay.
that on the website.
But that's only up at the city fairgrounds,
Correct.
private property.
Yeah, we
Correct,
don't do any
correct.
private-
That's what I was inquiring about.
We didn't, don't do anything.
Yeah, and that's what the transient room tax is supposed to do, because all the county, and all the cities in the county pool their money, and it's supposed to do the advertising for all of our events.
Okay.
Sometimes we get a little left out.
Yeah.
Kurt, did you have something?
No.
Oh, okay. Tim, are you gonna give us a report?
So what do you want to report?
What's going on with just our water?
We're still in good shape as
Okay.
far as McCully Creek. I actually stopped in here because I wanted to see if I could get an okay to get Byron up there to dig out in front of our weir up there like he does every year. And I wanted to see if that'd be okay. I think it's like $400 or something like that, to get him to do that. I can't remember what he charged, but we need to do that pretty quick because the water's being kind of diverted around our weir right now. And we get him up there each year to dig that out so that then when the snow melts and we got a lot of water coming through there, it doesn't fill our actual weir full of rock, and that's all hand shoveling, and it saves us every time if we happen to do that for a day or so. But I wanted to see if we could get an okay to go to McCully Creek and take care of that.
Didn't our backhoe do it?
No, can't, it's
Just there. But I can't
I'm
get
just
that
telling
far.
you. It's got issues.
No, we wouldn't even make it there. We're
Yeah, that's fine. Or I'm concerned.
We'll make that into a motion. Do you have Byron do it?
Oh, I make the motion that Byron Hughes takes his mini up there and cleans out the intake at the phone. Like he does every year.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Then the only other thing is Steve Rich, when they exposed the end of that line today, we had a 6-inch, leak, which was pretty major. And we got the water shut off in about 15 minutes, which saved a lot of water. And, that's repaired right now with a valve on it so they can continue on. It actually got them probably a day ahead on their schedules because that happened, but there was no thrust block on the end of that T where it was capped off. And as soon as they exposed it, it blew off. And so it wasn't anything they really did in there. It was just, once they exposed it, it came apart, so.
And that valve that they just put in, is going to shut off the new line?
Yes, and that valve came from one that we ordered for that project.
Okay.
And, and I wanna say too, that M2 saved our bacon today on, they had, restraints, and, stuff for us to be able to hook that up. Or we would have been running to town and it would have been hours and hours before we would have got back. We might have had to go to Core Main to get what we needed. And they had it up here and Steve Rich is gonna replace their
Okay.
parts for them. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
That's all I got.
Okay.
all I
Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We need a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, we're adjourned at 9:34:30.
No, no, that's.
Oh, yeah.